Yellow, yellow. 2 minute countdown. That gives me enough time to get in here. What's up? What's up? Two people in here. You know how this works. I'm gonna wait and get a couple more in here before we start this live breakdown, guys. UFC Nashville. Quite the card. I think it's a little underrated, and I think there's gonna be a lot of violence. There's gonna be a lot of violence this week. I'm excited, and I'm excited to break it down. Per usual, I'm gonna be talking best bets, predictions, breakdowns. It'll be quicker today. Usually, I break this down in about an hour. I don't want to be that, I don't want to be here that long, and I just want to be consistent and concise and to the point. So again, I'm gonna wait for a few people. I just posted this on Instagram. That's what the 2 minutes were for. Got to put the thumbnail, and yeah, man, it's gonna be really good today. There's some spots. Initially, I was like, "Oh, there's no spots here." I was a little worried, but yeah, we're gonna get to it. And now that I have a couple people in here, I'm gonna change the slide. You know, so UFC 317, the last card we had. Unfortunately, last week we got nothing, and that was a little depressing. But for UFC 317, we had our comeback week. Toffa light heavyweight, baby. Yep. We had a rough patch. We had UFC 316 was extremely rough. I went -7 units, which is the worst I've ever done in my betting career, and it was accompanied by a -4.5 after that. Then we went +1 unit and then +3.5. So we're working our way back to where we need to be, and I'm excited about it. And again, I'm just letting a few people get in here. We got 3. Comment if you're here, guys. If you're a returning viewer, I want to know who's here because I like to know. I've gotten to know a few of you. We've been averaging 15, 20 people per stream. So I really like the live stream. I'm trying to do this a little more often. I officially gave an underdog of the week for 3 cards in a row. No, 2 cards in a row. I'm sorry. Underdog of the week, bet of the week, and I did a full card breakdown. If you want to check that out at your own leisure, just straight to the point. And yeah, I'm doing a live every week. So guys, every week I'm giving 4 videos to break things down. You get an underdog play, a bet of the week, you get a breakdown, a full breakdown, and now I'm doing a live stream, which I like because I get to talk to you guys, and it feels a lot more natural for me, way more natural than just talking to a camera. So I thoroughly enjoy doing this, and yeah, we're gonna get right to it. And I'm going to get started in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. But if you do want my exclusive bets, I'm leaving this here because this live stream is going to play out after. You can check out my Instagram, $4.99 a month, or my Winnable link, which is not in this description, but all my videos description. And you're going to be able to get all my bets, $9.99, and you get text to your phone. But without further ado, guys, I'm going to get started because people trickle in and a lot of people don't like the prelims, but the real viewers do. So again, comment, guys. Be sure to ask questions. I love to respond to you guys and move forward with it. So Fatima Klein, Melissa Martinez. And at this point in time, I'm going to open my Hard Rock app, which is what I use to gamble. Everybody does DraftKings, draft everything, all sorts of websites and things like that. I like the Hard Rock app, and it's not so much that I like it, but I live in Florida, so sports betting is a little newer to us, compared to other states. But it's a good app. I get good bets. Very user friendly. If you're in Florida, and there's about 4 other states, the Hard Rock app, very user friendly, very fun. And I'm opening up these odds for Fatima Klein, who is one of the biggest favorites on this card. A little crazy. A couple weeks ago, I came on here and I was very clear, and I said I'm done with women's MMA, but here I am. I put a bet on them, and I'll tell you in a second. So prelims, here we are. All right, here we go, guys. Official starting. Fatima Klein sitting as a -1300 favorite. DraftKings not available in my country. Oh, for people of other countries, guys, my Winnable link, check that out. Fatima Klein, -1300 favorite. Guys, as I've always said, -1300, anything over -300, 400. I don't even like to parlay it because we're in the most volatile sport there is, right? There's so much change. Anybody could walk in here, get knocked out. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen the Ritter beat Bo Nickel as a heavy favorite. We saw Peyton Talbot come in as a -1200 and lose to Barcelos. These things happen. So whenever we get odds like this, -1300, -700, I tend to stay away. And we have a few of those fights in this card where we have some very heavy favorites. And there's been a few weeks now at this point where we get consistent, ridiculous favorites. And I don't know what's going on with the betting lines. I think it has to do with right now there's no other sports. Basketball's up, NFL's out, NHL just finished. And I think that has a lot to do with it. But without further ado, guys, Fatima Klein against Melissa Martinez. Fatima Klein coming in here as the heavy grappler, a girl who's going to use her physicality and her size to get this fight to the ground, look for submissions, look for grappling exchanges. And I think that's exactly how it goes. And I think the public knows this. I think the odds makers know this. The bookie knows this. Melissa Martinez, very good. She has a brother in the UFC, and he's an absolute killer. They're both great strikers. Really good at managing distance and pretty powerful, both of them. And her, for her size, a women's strawweight who packs a punch, 8-1. She's good. She's good, and she is not somebody we should take lightly because I think Melissa Martinez can find a finish here, right? It is a possibility. So the fact that Fatima Klein's at minus 1,300, I think it has more to do with her grappling ability and Melissa Martinez's lack of grappling ability. You put that into the equation and it calls for disaster. But so much could happen in this fight. And like always, I say women's MMA is not worth it. So in this fight, guys, I did take a half unit bet, and I'll tell you right now, I'm hoping Fatima Klein does get this fight to the ground, and I hope she wins by finish. And her to win by finish is actually plus money. So you have a minus 1,300 favorite who they're favoring that heavy to win by decision. Yes, it's women's MMA, but if she gets Melissa Martinez to the ground, I think Melissa Martinez is going to be trying to shoot up or find their way out. And that's when a lot of, I'm going to say low-level mixed martial artists, but that's not what Melissa Martinez is. That's when a lot of people get caught. You know, they give up a limb or they give up their neck, they give up their back, and that's going to be bad news for Melissa Martinez. And I really do think that Fatima Klein could find the finish here. So I'm taking Fatima Klein to win by finish. I put half a unit just because there's something about me who likes to put a bet for the first fight of the night. But if you don't bet on women's MMA, I completely respect it. If anything, you're following one of my rules. One of my 10 commandments about mixed martial arts is don't bet on women's MMA. Yet I find myself doing it more and more often. So it is what it is, guys. Take that and leave it. I'm not even going to run with round lines there. Mike Davis against Mitch Ramirez. Guys, this is another crazy one. Mike Davis is now a minus 1,300 favorite. Mitch Ramirez is at plus 750. A lot of people might be like dog or bust here, right? Because the odds are just so crazy. Guys, Mike Davis is the man. Mike Davis is highly skilled. Mike Davis could find the knockout, find the sub. He could do it all. And in this situation against Mitch Ramirez, who's primarily is a grappler and not somebody who could find a finish, I think it's Mike Davis all the way. Underdog or bust, my ass. I really do think that Mike Davis should find the finish here. Mike Davis definitely gets his hand raised. But again, mixed martial arts, I don't go for the minus 1,300 favorites. Here's my thing about this fight. There's a narrative that's worried about Mike Davis. Mike Davis has had long turnovers with the UFC. He's had injuries. And then last fight, he comes out against Ferociem and he starts pulling guard. And that's something that's pretty concerning. That's not something we want to see from somebody who's as high level as Mike Davis. We don't want to see someone coming out in a mixed martial arts fight and starts pulling guard. It just doesn't make any sense, right? And when you have somebody as high skilled as Mike Davis, it brings concern. And especially with after that fight, he comes in as a minus 1,300 favorite. So I think this is a fair stay away. Even though I'm huge on Mike Davis in this position, I think it's stay away. And I think the only thing that makes any sense here is Mike Davis to win by finish is minus 165. And I think there's a good possibility that he wins by knockout or by sub. I like that a lot. The round lines scare me because I could see Mike Davis coming in and starching Mitch Ramirez. I could see this fight going to decision if Mitch Ramirez all of a sudden is a little durable and makes it. He's a good grappler. He has no finishing ability. I don't like the round lines. I think Mike Davis by finish is the only thing that has somewhat of value here because I think he finds it minus 165 and we move on. These fights with all these heavy favorites, I just don't like them. And now it gets fun. Now we could talk some stuff, and I'm gonna have some coffee here. All right, Kennedy Njoku, Vtor Walker. This is a really tough fight to break down because we have two fairly untested mixed martial artists, two guys that you could argue have been pretty sloppy in their MMA and UFC careers. To be more exact, you have 14-5 Kennedy against Vtor Walker, who's 13-1. Vtor Walker, we've seen issues with his striking. We've seen issues with his gas tank, and we saw a Tubby Lumpkins, right? We saw a guy who just didn't look MMA fit and MMA ready, UFC ready to be exact, but he's cleaned up a lot. He looks a lot more focused. He looks dialed in. He looks fit. He's lost a lot of weight. And now I'm more inclined to think that Vtor Walker is more UFC caliber than he was before. On the other hand, Kennedy Njoku has always looked fairly promising, but now Kennedy Njoku has had some weird fights in the UFC, right? Like when you go to decision against an aging OSP and you're the up and coming prospect, I'm a little concerned. So in this fight, the narrative is Kennedy Njoku, who's like usually this huge guy in the octagon, coming in. He has a striking ability. He could keep his range fairly well. We haven't seen him grapple tested too much, right? You've seen him taken down, shoot back up. And then you have Vtor Walker, who has lower level striking, but very high grappling ability. And you're in this mix of confusion. And to be honest with you, this is my first dog of the night. I'm taking Vtor Walker, guys. And Vtor Walker right now is a plus 170 dog. That's exactly how I took him. Because if you're betting on this fight, I think you're betting dog or bust if you're going money line. It's Vtor Walker money line or nothing. You do not take Kennedy Njoku in this position at minus 210. I personally don't. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think there's a lot of value. Total rounds. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 110. Under is minus 120. To be frank with you, if Vtor Walker takes this fight to the ground, I think he could find something. If Kennedy Njoku is able to evade the takedowns, I think he could finish Vtor Walker. So in this fight, for plus money, I like Vtor Walker money line. But honestly, I like this fight not to go the distance. And at that point, I like the under 2.5 at minus 120. I think that's almost a steal. So fight to go the distance, yes, plus 115. No, minus 155. I like the under 2.5 here, guys. And I think that's a safe parlay, minus 120. I think somebody finds a finish here. I would be not surprised, but I'm more inclined to think there's a finish in this fight. But I take Vtor Walker money line. He's my underdog bet. He wasn't my underdog of the week, though, and we'll talk about that a little more. And again, guys, we're getting more people trickling in and out of here, and that's fine. Let me know who's here. I know there's a lot of repeat viewers. I know I get 50% of you guys aren't subscribers. So if you're new here, or if you're watching this and I'm breaking down fights and you enjoy this, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, like. I like this to be interactive. I love talking to you guys. It feels a lot more natural. So next up, Lauren Murphy, who was semi-retired and has officially announced her retirement fight, coming in as a way older woman, right, against Eduardo Mora, who I'm not too crazy about. But Eduardo Mora in this position should easily take this fight. Eduardo Mora is a minus 650, which I'm going to tell you, stay away, 10 feet away. And Lauren Murphy's plus 475. Guys, we haven't seen Lauren Murphy in like 2 years. Lauren Murphy, all she has to her name is some experience and some physicality. There's no reason why I believe Lauren Murphy will win this fight. However, I'm not confident enough in Eduardo Mora to bet on her or anything about this fight. I don't like a round line. I don't like a prop. This is women's MMA. This is the perfect fight. The other fight I had a bet for you with Klein. This fight, there's nothing. I have absolutely nothing for you, and I think you all need to respect that, and you all need to just stay away. I'm moving along. I don't even want to spend a minute on this fight. This is go grab a beer, take a piss, take a shit, walk the dog type of fight. Guys, we come to Jake Matthews against Chitty Njoku. And I try to say that to the best of my ability. Njoku. All right. Guys, Jake Matthews coming in as a plus 130 underdog. Chitty Njoku minus 160. Okay. Jake Matthews is a very talented and experienced fighter, but he is extremely inconsistent. Extremely inconsistent. So that's going to be very relevant here. And then Chitty Njoku, someone who has a lot of experience as well. Packs a punch, very good striker, could point fight. And Chitty Njoku, in my opinion, packs a good punch at 170. And in this fight is going to need to keep his range, keep striking and doing his thing. Jake Matthews, though, has very good boxing. Jake Matthews has grappling ability. So the question in this fight is Jake Matthews able to close the distance? Can he take down Chitty Njoku, right? And what can he do with it? And the problem with Jake Matthews is that one fight he looks like he's a contender, and the next fight he looks like he's a bum. So I hope that the IQ is there. I hope Jake Matthews could push a pace. I hope he could close the distance, and I hope he gets a couple takedowns early in the fight, because if he gets a takedown or two, I think Jake Matthews becomes more of a threat against Chitty, and then that's when he becomes a threat. When Chitty is worried about the takedown, that's when Jake Matthews is going to have more success boxing, because he's very good fundamentally. So, guys, I'm going dog here. At plus 170, I feel comfortable betting Jake Matthews, and he's my underdog bet of the week. It's that simple, guys. So, there it is. Max Griffin, Chris Curtis. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Guys, Chris Curtis is minus 325, and I will tell you, I did parlay his money line. That tells you everything. And then Max Griffin plus 260. Guys, this is a striking matchup. Straight up striking matchup. Chris Curtis is very good, man, and he's coming down to welterweight again. He's fought here before. A lot of people may be a little concerned about his age and then making more of a weight cut. You know, there's more possibility of chin issues and stuff. And then Max Griffin, though, man, I'm sorry, but who's on Max Griffin here? I just think we're dealing with a lower level mixed martial artist. I like Chris Curtis a lot, and I think he has the striking advantage. He has the speed advantage. He has the power advantage. Yes, Max Griffin could pack a punch, but I think this is one of those fights that if Max Griffin wins, it's because he caught Chris Curtis, and I'm not willing to bet on that. I'm willing to bet on the mixed martial artists who have more confidence in, and that's Chris Curtis. Daddy Curtis, what's up? What's up? See, I got a few people over here. Curtis got this. Curtis defense, so good. Daddy Curtis. Yeah, guys, straight up. And I agree with everything you guys are saying. And at the end of the day, bigger, better, faster, stronger. Coming down to welterweight with his age is the only concern. But Max Griffin is a dinosaur in MMA as well. I'm comfortable with Chris Curtis. I'm comfortable with the money line, and I'm comfortable parlaying him. That's the reality of this fight. And now when I break down, I think this fight goes the distance. So Chris Curtis by decision is minus 125. See, so the odds makers know this fight. This is like generic matchmaking. I don't like it. Over 1.5 rounds minus 650, over 2.5 minus 300. Fight to go the distance, no, is plus 165. Yes is minus 220. Yeah, that's accurate. So yeah, guys, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of value in this fight. I took Chris Curtis in a parlay money line. I have, my weary as well, because I said, you never know the chin, the aging vet, cutting down a little more. What's up? I am Randy. I'm late to the party, but I'm here. Always good to see you. I wanted to do this later, but this is the time I have. It's nice to see a few more people trickling in for the main card. So yeah, this is a feature prelim, guys, and I think it's straightforward. It's straightforward. I have Chris Curtis. I've never had a doubt of him in this position. And yeah, I don't know who would be on Max Griffin in this fight. Now, the big kahuna, guys. The big freaking kahuna. Junior Toffa. I'm going to make a YouTube video about the shitty brothers of MMA, and there's so many of them. I was going down the line, and like the only brothers who are great are like the Diaz brothers, but everybody has a shitty brother in the UFC. Everybody. There's so many. A shitty sibling. Guys, this is a masterclass of matchmaking. There's no reason for this to be in any main card ever. Junior Toffa, when you hear Toffa, you think of Justin Toffa, and you think of, all right, bro, a heavyweight banger who could bring it. He'll lose, he'll get knocked out, but he could bring the fight. Junior Toffa hasn't proven himself in the UFC. He hasn't proven himself in mixed martial arts in general. And then you have Tucos, who, guys, quite frankly, is just a lower level mixed martial artist. But when you zoom back a little further in this matchup, what you see is a heavyweight striker who's now had the discipline to cut weight and make light heavyweight. We don't know if he's going to pack the same power, but primarily a striker. Has no takedown defense. And then you have Tucos, who's a walking heavy bag, no head movement, and has to rely strictly on grappling in this situation. I am so torn in this fight because this could really go either way. This is a sloppy mess. It shouldn't be in the main event. But I would like something about Junior Toffa losing this weight, moving down in weight class, makes me feel a little better. It makes me feel like he's going to be larger in this weight class. It makes me feel like he's disciplined. It makes me feel like he's taking MMA seriously. Where Tuco's not saying he's not taking this seriously. It's just lower level, man, and he gets hit too much. So I'm going to rely on Junior Toffa's power. And Junior Toffa's minus 170 here. Guys, if you want to take that straight up, go for it. I wouldn't parlay it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tuco's gets this to the ground, either sits on Toffa for 15 minutes or finds some sort of finish on the ground. But I'm more inclined to think Junior Toffa wins this fight by knockout. And with that being said, I think I'm just playing it safer, and I might touch a round line. So under 2.5 is minus 325. Not a terrible parlay piece. Under 1.5 minus 120. I don't think it's terrible. This fight is completely based off of Tuco's, if he's going to try to stand and bang with this guy, which we've seen him do before, or he's going to go for the takedown. Toffa should win this one, but it's a sloppy mess. I talk bets, and I try to give you guys the best value bets. There's not a lot of value here. Did I put an under in this fight in a parlay? I did. I did do that. Did I put Junior Toffa in a long shot parlay? I did do that. But that doesn't mean it's a good decision. It just means I'm a degenerate, guys. So I'm telling you, be very weary of this fight, guys. Use your head. Don't go crazy. And yeah. So let's see. Unpopular opinion, but Toffa is taking this. He looks in shape now on his socials. He does. He looks like he's disciplined and he's taking this seriously. Are you excited for seeing Lewis in the octagon again? We'll get to that. All right. Austin Lane, Vtor Patrino. Guys, I love this fight because, man, there's just something about the odds makers and the general public that cracks me up. Guys, Vtor Patrino is a minus 750 favorite. Austin Lane is plus 525. When I say stay away from this freaking money line, it's the same as I do with Mike Davis minus 1300, Fatima Klein minus 1300. It's the same value to me. It's almost the same. Vtor Patrino is very good. He's a very good mixed martial artist. I am a fan of Vtor Patrino. But Vtor Patrino has proven to us that he cannot be relied on. He had a great fight against Dustin Jacoby. Got finished. Okay, he got caught. Rewind. He was fighting Anthony Smith, which Anthony Smith probably should have retired then. But he goes for some shitty takedown attempt and gets caught in a guillotine from Anthony Smith. What the hell's going on? Vtor Patrino should have won both of those fights. And here we are. 2 losses. And now he's fighting Austin Lane. And Austin Lane is an athlete, straight up a fucking gigantic athlete. Like, this is the type of guy, like, you don't realize it, but this is the guy on the street that, like, fucking cat calls your girl and you're like, fuck, I gotta fight this guy. 6'6", former football player, now in the UFC. Like, he's a fucking real athlete. And he has a size advantage here. Vtor Patrino's going up to heavyweight. And this is a scary freaking fight because although Austin Lane has zero chin, right? He gets caught by everybody. He's a big son of a gun. And at heavyweight, I don't feel comfortable betting money line for Vtor Patrino to walk in after he's been caught by Dustin Jacoby, after he went for a shitty guillotine against Anthony Smith. I don't feel comfortable. So in this fight, I did take something. Total rounds, I do think this fight hits the under 1.5 at minus 160. It's a little juiced. Vtor Patrino was minus 400 at one point. Maybe you parlay that, but minus 750 you don't. Winning method, Vtor Patrino by knockout minus 275. If you take a knockout prop bet at minus 275, 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-GAMBLER. Just fucking do it. Just call. Just get off my channel. I'm okay if you unsubscribe, because you taking Patrino by knockout at minus 275 is insane. Absolutely insane. You take it under 1.5 at minus 160, I get it. Fight to go the distance, no, minus 700. Guys, just fucking stay away. Both of these guys are unreliable. Both of them can be sussed with the chin. I'm not touching it. I don't think you should either. Again, it's your money, not mine. Go freaking nuts. Forget it. And now we get to the good stuff, guys. I'm so excited to break the rest of this card down. 4 fights left. And now we're getting a few more people. 22 of you. So welcome if you're new here. Guys, main card. Austin Lane is a flimsy heavyweight. Yeah, flimsy heavyweight. He's just an athlete, to be honest. Guys, if you're new here and you like this, subscribe, turn on notifications. I have an underdog bet of the week out, a bet of the week out. We'll talk a little more of that at the end. But come on, give me some support. I'm doing 3 videos a week for you guys and a live breakdown. I thank you for the 23 views during this live. But anyway, let's move on. Nate Landwehr, Nate the Train against Morgan Sherier. Guys, Nate the Train is durable. Nate the Train is a son of a gun. Nate the Train is fighting at home. Nate the Train is not that guy anymore. Nate the Train is getting older. Nate the Train has taken so much fucking damage. So much damage. It's insane. So I think Nate the Train comes in here and he's like, I'm fighting in Tennessee. I'm going to move forward and I'm going to do what I have to do to win. And I think he's really going to do that. And then on the other hand, you have Morgan Sherier, who's way better in every aspect. Anybody who says Nate the Train is better than Morgan Sherier could go play in traffic. Morgan Sherier is so much better of a mixed martial artist, but Morgan Sherier could be very low volume. And if there's somebody in MMA who is hated by judges because of how he scores, is Morgan Sherier. Morgan Sherier has, I can't tell you the difference, but he has more than double the losses when you look at his decision losses than wins. Because Morgan Sherier could be a little hesitant. Morgan Sherier could be very low volume. So Morgan Sherier is tough to bet on. And I did in this fight because I feel fairly confident in him. And right now he's sitting at a minus 275 favorite, and Nate the Train is plus 220. I'm not going to say this is dog or bust because I don't think that Nate the Train wins this fight. But I'm going to tell you something I did do. And this is one of my exclusive bets. So you're getting a free bet here. I'm going against my subscribers. But Morgan Sherier to win by finish is plus 175. I think I got it at plus 160. So you're going to get better odds. I think Morgan Sherier could find the shot because if Nate the Train is coming in trying to be the hometown hero, just using his head as pressure, getting hit like crazy, he's older, there's damage fucking been ran through him. I think Morgan Sherier could find the shot. Morgan Sherier finds shots. Morgan Sherier is good. Morgan Sherier could find the sub. Morgan Sherier could have his way with Nate the Train if he plays his cards right. But can he withstand that first round pressure from Nate the Train? That's the question. So, fight to go the distance? No, minus 105. Yes, minus 125. I'm more inclined to think that somebody finds a finish here. Either Nate Landwehr just fucking darts at Morgan Sherier, tires him out and finishes him, or Morgan Sherier finds his shot because Nate is just going crazy and trying to find a finish. One of the two. So that's what I like in this fight. Like I said, plus 175 for Morgan Sherier to find a finish. I think there's value there, guys. And maybe I'm going to fucking shit the bed with that bet, but I'm taking it. Lord of Pies, Austin Lane. You touch him, he turns into Bambi. That's fucking accurate. Like Muhammad Usman. What the hell's wrong with that guy? That guy, he gets hit with a jab and he like does the cha-cha slide. That shit's crazy. All right. Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia. Like I always say, I follow a lot of handicappers. My algorithm on every social media platform is UFC and MMA and bettors and handicappers, all 9 yards. It's basically a job of mine, right? I'm just watching what everybody's doing, my decisions, fighters, analysts, the whole 9 yards. It seems to me that the public favorite is not only Vtor Walker, but it's Calvin Kattar. Because Steve Garcia, in his last 5 knockout wins, has fought lower level guys. It's the reality of the situation. And that's fine. And then you have Calvin Kattar. And Calvin Kattar, he's coming off a few losses, but I think 4 straight. But Calvin Kattar's fought the best of the division. The best of the division. And that's just the reality. So when you have this big step up in competition, a lot of people are like, oh, man, this is a trap. And right now, Steve Garcia's minus 130 favorite. And I took him at that. Calvin Kattar's plus 105. This is what I'm going to tell you. I'm picking Steve Garcia as a minus 130 favorite. He has the momentum. He's very powerful. And I like his money line. I put him and Chris Curtis together and I bet that. That's the reality of the situation. And do I have regret? No, because I feel fairly confident in Steve Garcia. Can Calvin Kattar come out here and have a world-class performance? Yeah. But I like the momentum. I like the power. I like the up-and-comer, even though he's an older prospect. I think Calvin Kattar is very good, but I think Calvin Kattar gets hit a lot. And I mean, Max Holloway proved that. If Steve Garcia has great striking and Calvin Kattar is willing to stand and bang with him, Calvin Kattar is going to fucking get finished for the first time ever. Steve Garcia is going to find it. But if you want something safe, and I'm going to tell you a secret, 9 out of the last 10 fights for Steve Garcia, 9 out of the last 10 have finished by knockout or TKO. 9 out of the last 10. He got knocked out on one of them. So, and he's been dropped several times. So if these guys come in here and stand and bang, I'm inclined to think this fight finishes by knockout or TKO. And that's what I took, guys. This fight, any fighter to win by knockout or KO, TKO in this fight is minus 145. I got it for better odds. It's more expensive now. But I think nobody grapples here. I think there's negative IQ. I don't think that Steve Garcia could dance around like Zalal with Calvin Kattar and just get away from his striking. I think Steve Garcia is going to stand and bang. And I think Calvin Kattar is going to be about it because he's so durable. Somebody's going down. So if you don't feel comfortable with Steve Garcia at minus 130, I think you take any fighter to win by knockout, minus 145. And when we look at total rounds, under 2.5 is minus 155. Fight not to go the distance, minus 190. I think that's all of those prices are fair. All of those prices are fair. Calvin Kattar looks so bad against Sterling. Yeah, but Sterling out-grappled the shit out of him, and I don't see Steve Garcia doing that. And then Zalal. Zalal's made a lot of improvements, and Zalal looks really good, but Zalal's footwork is what made the difference, especially at the end, because Calvin Kattar turned it on. Calvin Kattar could go 5 rounds. So in a three-round fight, he could be a little scary for Steve Garcia because I feel like Steve Garcia is so used to finishing the fight within a round and a half that it could be a little dangerous for him. But I like Steve Garcia in this position. I like this fight not to go the distance, and I like it to end by knockout. I think somebody finds one. Steve Garcia has been chinned before. 9 out of the last 10 fights finish in knockout TKO, guys. I mean, what else do you want for data? If I got this one wrong, I got it wrong. But what else do you want with data? 9 out of Steve Garcia's last 10 fights have finished by knockout TKO. Come on. The co-main event of the evening and my bet of the week is in this card. In this fight, I'm sorry. Stephen Thompson against Gabriel Bonfiglio. Guys, Stephen Thompson, the vet, the G, karate stance, unorthodox striking, fucking will be 2 inches away from you and will somehow kick you in the face. The guy's awesome. I love him. And the narrative is he's older, he's washed, he's done. I don't like that one, man, because I think that he looked pretty good against Buckley. He got caught. And can that happen here? Fuck yeah, it can. But Stephen Thompson is putting in the work. I think he's a legend for a reason. His striking is very uncomfortable. And this fight is completely dependent on what Gabriel Bonfiglio decides to do. And one thing that happens to Steve Thompson's opponents is when Gabriel Bonfiglio, or when a fighter stands in front of him, they've never seen anything like his striking. They get really uncomfortable. They don't know what to do. And I think Gabriel Bonfiglio has the tools and IQ to get through that. But I would never count out Stephen Thompson. However, we hunt value, and Gabriel Bonfiglio has like 13 sub wins or maybe more. He's a fucking animal. And if Gabriel Bonfiglio's team and himself has any IQ and they're not coming to prove a point, they're going to come in here. They're going to let Stephen Thompson shoot in with one of his strikes, and they're going to take him down. And I got to be frank with you. If Gabriel Bonfiglio takes down Stephen Thompson, I think he finds a finish. It could be a club and sub. It could be a takedown. He could work around. But Gabriel Bonfiglio, I hope within 2 minutes of the first round, shoots for a takedown. And if he does, I think Gabriel Bonfiglio finds a submission or maybe just ground and pound. But I think he finds a finish. And my bet of the week, which if you saw my video, I appreciate you. And I hope you subscribed and commented and liked. My bet of the week is Gabriel Bonfiglio within the distance at minus 105. Even money almost, I'll take it. The karate stance, always a problem. I have a question. Guys, I'm taking questions after the main event. So question away about any fight. All right. And guys, the main event, right before I open this up to questions, and I want you guys to participate more. I feel like I barely have comments this time. I have 17 viewers. We got up to like 23. I'll take it. But comment questions. Talk to me about bets. That's what I'm here for. I'm doing this live stream. I'll be on here for another 15 minutes easily after this breakdown. So talk to me. Derrick Lewis, Unk. I wish he was at my house for July 4th because I know that motherfucker could grill. I know he can. Derrick Lewis, an experienced veteran, a very hit or miss fighter at times, has the most knockout wins in UFC history. An absolute animal, older, here for a paycheck. That's the reality. But here's my problem, because as soon as I give that breakdown, you immediately want to go with the opponent. But the reality is you have Talison to share on the other side. Extremely unproven heavyweight. A guy who went into the Dana White's Contender Series, got a dub, got a win in the UFC within 30 seconds. Great. Against a good heavyweight fighter, a decent heavyweight fighter. And now he's here against Derrick Lewis, someone who's been around the world of the UFC, someone who's fought every contender in the heavyweight division. So I'm very uncomfortable taking Talison to share a money line, because Talison to share a money line is now minus 300. It was as low as minus 225. Minus 225, and he's minus 300. What do we do? Derrick Lewis is plus 240. I think the lock here is this fight ends by knockout or TKO, right? We expect the finish. This fight to end by knockout TKO is minus 500, and who's gonna take that? So then you say, what about the round lines? Because I don't like the money lines. I don't like this fight to end by knockout. The value's not there. What about round lines, guys? Under 1.5 rounds is minus 220, and it's parked there because it's risky. Because even though Talison Teixeira's never been in a deep hole where he's going 2-3 rounds, this is Derrick Lewis, and maybe Derrick Lewis could evade, the power and ability of Talison Teixeira. So maybe they make it past 1.5. So the thought process continues, and then I say, okay, but Talison Teixeira gets hit a lot. And if you watch his fights, he gets hit by low-level guys. So if Derrick Lewis catches him, maybe he finds a chin. Maybe he's not as durable. Maybe Derrick Lewis is just that tough. So I'm inclined to think this fight ends by knockout. I'm inclined to think it happens in the first 2 rounds. So what did I take, guys? I took an alternate round line. I took this fight, and I parlayed this to finish in round 1 or 2. Right? Alternate. Where's the alternate? Alternating winning rounds. Where is this bad boy? I'll tell you exactly what I got the money for. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Hate me. All right. Alternate winning round grouped. This fight to finish in round 1 or 2 is minus 350. And I think that's as much as of a lock you could get here. Either of these guys could win by knockout. I'm not on the Derrick Lewis side. He's the aging vet. I think this is a paycheck. I'm all over Talison Teixeira. I think he gets it done. I'm fairly confident in that, but I don't like the money line, especially not now at minus 300. Guys, I think you bet the under 1.5 or you group the 1-2. This fight definitely doesn't fucking start round 3. And if it does, man, I'm going to lose some money. But I really don't think it. 8 finishes, 7 out of 8 in round 1, I believe. And yeah, man, Talison Teixeira's the right pick, but he gets hit a lot. And he's not UFC tested. Derrick Lewis is. So there has to be a level of uncertainty with him, guys. And no means do I think this is a lock. If you win it, congrats, but it's not a lock, guys. You have to be a little scared of Talison Teixeira. So anyway, guys, that concludes my live breakdown of everything. If you have betting questions, please let me know. I just ran through this PowerPoint, and I'm going to tell you, we're plus 25 units for the year. So for those of you who don't know, if you're an $100 better, you're up $2,500 if you subscribe to me. It's $4.99 a month. For a lot of you who are watching me week to week, $4.99 a month if you support me. That's fucking nice. On IG, you could do that. If you want winnable, you want text notifications to your phone, it's $9.99 a month. But either way, I appreciate all the support. The most I could ask of you is to subscribe, turn on notifications, comment when I put up a video, like it when I put up a video. You're watching them anyway. I see who's watching. I see you. So anyway, I appreciate all the support. Does he have ground? That's the question for Teixeira. Apparently he does, but we've never seen it. Apparently he's a BJJ guy. We've just never seen it. So a sneaky prop bet that's super insane is maybe Teixeira comes out here, goes for a takedown. He fears Derrick Lewis's power and gets a sub. And you know what? Let's see what that looks like. So Teixeira to win by sub. Let's see what this is. Winning method. Teixeira to win by sub is plus 1,000. So if you want to really throw your balls at your freaking your odds makers, plus 1,000 bet Teixeira by sub is nuts. I'm not taking it, but it's a possible. He's a kickboxer. Yeah, but he does have BJJ, guys. This guy's Brazilian, and I saw a video that said like his old hashtag was like BJJ or something. Apparently there's ground game there. I don't know. I've heard several people say it. We haven't seen it, so I'm not putting money on it. 2 things could happen, TKO or sub. Exactly. So I like him by finish. Teixeira by finish in general, yes, is minus 230. So you know what, guys? You don't take Teixeira money line because you know this fight's not going the distance. So if you take Teixeira by finish minus 230, you're basically getting his money line that way. Do not take Teixeira minus 300. Take him by finish minus 230. This fight doesn't go 5 rounds. There's no freaking way. If it does, I don't know. I'll shave my beard or something on live. It's weird. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I don't see a lot of comments. I don't see a lot of questions. I told you a fight ago to start them up. If you have any, I'm going to give you another minute or 2 to do so. The live stream is ending now. 40 minutes. That's pretty freaking good. I'm going to put this up. I appreciate all you guys, per usual. Like I said, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do the whole thing, guys. That's my complete breakdown of UFC Nashville. Next week, UFC 318. I'm going to have so many units on that. I'm going to give you a hell of an underdog. I'm going to give you a hell of a bet of the week. Yeah. How do you see Garcia and Kattar? I see the fight finishing. I think somebody gets knocked out. Rewind this a little bit now when I post it. And check that out. It's a pretty thorough breakdown. I've broken the fight down in 2 videos, so check that out. Appreciate all of you. Have a good one, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Love you all. See you next week.